Good morning, everybody. This is Annie. Girl. Annie's a little barrel horse, quite the temperamental one. She did not want to be caught this morning, and came into her stall to put her halter on, and immediate ear pinning and running around the stall trying to keep away from me, not wanting to be caught. That's a good girl. There we go. She's usually just fine to work on, but can definitely be on the temperamental side. I left the stall door just a little bit cracked, and she decided she wanted to try to get through there. Luckily, she didn't. There you go, girl. Oh. So she's definitely one that I start slow with and let her warm up a little bit before I get started. There we go. There we go. Just a little tighten her back right up on the wither here on the left side. Pelvis feels rotated on the left. There we go. There we go. Good girl. Typical Mary, you know? Just lets you do your thing, but shows her displeasure whenever she feels it. Oh, she's a good girl, though. Just a little bit tight in her mid-back. Feels like she has a little rotation in her pelvis on the left side at the SI joint, which is what we call, which is what I'd call PI, posterior inferior on the left side. And that's the position of the SI joint when that particular side looks high, because that part of the pelvis is rotated down and back this way. So their pelvis usually sits here, right? These are the spines of the ilium, spines of the pelvis. And as her legs go back and forward, they're doing this. SI joints would be between my thumbs. You have the ilium, and then the sacrum will be matched up right here. So it's doing this if I'm just showing you one side. And the opposite side is doing the opposite motion. So as one side goes down and forward, the other side is going up and back. So we get this motion. And if one side of the pelvis is high or looks high, it's because this guy is rotated down and back like this, which is what we call PI, or the other side is down and forward, which is what we call AS, anterior superior. So whenever I'm looking at the pelvis and I'm trying to figure out which side is stuck in which direction, I'm actually feeling for those pelvic spines. It's also called the PSIS, posterior superior iliac spine, or the tuber sacrale, depending on what manual you're looking in. But you're not just really feeling for the position with static palpation, because these spines can be different sizes. They can be asymmetrical. So if you're just looking at the pelvis going, oh, people go, oh, my horse's hip is out, right? Because it's high on one side. Number one, that's not the hip. Those are the SI joints. And number two, because of that asymmetry, you really have to motion palpate and feel how that joint is moving to determine if it's stuck or restricted or not. You cannot just look at it and say, oh, one side's high, one side's low, and therefore it's off. That could change because their feet aren't square, because they're resting one side. They have some muscle tightness, right, which is what I'm looking for. There's different things that can cause that. Old pelvic injuries. So you really have to be careful about just looking at a horse, or when somebody comes out and looks at your horse and goes, oh, your horse looks fine. Well, it might look fine, but until you palpate the joints and actually feel how they're moving, you really don't know that. So the only exception to that rule, I would say, is if the horse is standing square and you know how your horse normally looks back here. If they're normally flat across the top here and all of a sudden one side is much, much higher than the other, with their feet square and the ground level, right? You have to have a level surface as well. Then you can look and go, okay, something's definitely going on here. But the vast majority of the time, you cannot do that. All right, I'm gonna see if she'll let me flex her back up here. Oh, good girl. And you can see that concern, right? She's backing up, head comes up. If I see that, then I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna force her to do those pelvic reflexes, because obviously it's uncomfortable for her or she just doesn't like it. And if I keep trying and I force the issue and I really keep pushing on those pressure points, then basically I'm gonna piss her off and I'm gonna lose her for the rest of the adjustment, and she's just not gonna trust me. So, I do what's comfortable for the horse. Good girl. Always listen to their body language and what they're showing me. There, that's a good girl. So that I can build that rapport, and then we can get a really good adjustment done. And you always have to be, as a chiropractor, always have to be willing to say, okay, this is all I'm gonna get done today. I'm not gonna get everything done, right? Sometimes you can get 75%, sometimes, 50%. But you wanna leave the horse in a mental state where when you come back, they're like, oh, cool, I like this guy. And then the next time they'll let you do more. So a lot of this is just taking what the horse is willing to give you. Obviously, sometimes when they're in pain, oh, good girl. Obviously, when they're in pain, something bothering them and you have to adjust it, that's a different story, good girl. Because at the end of the day, you want to help the horse, and sometimes you have to adjust through the sore spots. But the vast majority of the time, I think the sore spots are not where the problem is. That's where the compensation is. So I'm really looking for the areas that aren't sore to help them the most. So if I'm palpating and an area feels really sore to me and they don't want that area messed with, most of the time I will stop and look somewhere else. It's just been my experience over the years that that's typically the case, where the sore spots are not the primary areas that are causing the issue. All right, I'm gonna bring her back over to the left side. And good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining my live. If you don't mind hitting that like button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Hey, thanks, JS. I have to wonder if the panda is very similar to humans. Yeah, I think it is, really. I think that, the vast majority of the time, unless you have trauma or, a direct injury to that particular area, I think it's just compensatory if it just shows up. And that's not all the time. I'm specifically talking about, horses here, but I know for myself that if my neck is messed up, my SI joints will start to hurt. And I might go, oh man, sometimes my SI joints will hurt enough to where I don't want them adjusted, but I know they're hurting because my neck is messed up. So I'll go to my chiropractor, Dr. Alex, and get adjusted, and I won't even have her touch my SI joints. I just have her adjust my neck because my low back is, too sore. I don't want it adjusted. She'll adjust my neck, and the next day my SI joints are fine. And that's been my experience, not only as a chiropractic patient, but also as a chiropractor for people and for animals. So I just think it's mostly compensatory. Let me move this over here. And thank you for the comment. Thanks for the likes, guys. Much appreciated. If you guys want to learn how to do any of these stretches, especially these pressure points that I'm doing for this horse, you can go on my website, sporthorsechiropractic.com. The link will be in the description, and it's also in the description of my other videos. But it's my equine stretching masterclass. I've got 25, 26 different stretches on there. About 90 minutes of content, just teaching you the correct, safe way to adjust your horse, or not to adjust, to stretch your horses rather. And I'm also writing a equine stretching manual that I'm hoping to have done here, hopefully by the end of the month. And that's going to be good girl. That's going to be something that goes along with the equine stretching masterclass videos. You can purchase them together or separate, but keep an eye out for that. It's just going to be a cheaper way for you guys to learn to stretch your horses, and also a lot of people like to have something tangible in their hands to reference while they're doing it instead of going back and forth to their phone. So check out my equine stretching course, and that manual hopefully will be out and ready by the end of this month. Awesome. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to type them out. I'd love to answer questions while I'm working, especially if it has to do with horse anatomy or neurology or any of the things that I'm doing here. We'll good girl. This is Annie again. Oh, good girl. Oh. Can't ask for a better relaxed position than that. She's so funny. She's really tough to catch. She's very, very how can I say, she loves to wear her emotions on her sleeve. She's very expressive. She doesn't like to be caught, but she loves to get worked on. So she's an interesting girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. And she's also one of those horses that doesn't really require a whole lot of adjusting. She's more tight in her soft tissues when she is tight. It's not usually a structural thing. So I spend most of my time adjusting her, or sorry, stretching her. Gosh, I can't talk this morning. And her movement is usually really, really nice. So I don't really adjust a lot of things on her. And most of the time when she does need something adjusted, it will release with those pressure points. Ooh, she's not too happy over here. All right, so let's check that out. So we got left SI joint, right lower neck, which is oftentimes I'll have left SI joint, right pole. Well, a little discomfort at the pole there. Yep, so right side pole, right side lower neck. That is the common pattern with SI joint. Call it SI joint dysfunction, or you can hear it called SIJD, kind of like TMJD, temporomandibular joint dysfunction. Doesn't really mean a whole lot other than the particular joint isn't working properly. Ooh. So this is a case where, yeah, she doesn't like it, it's uncomfortable, but if I don't fix this, then I don't fix the SI joint. They go together. So I have to get this adjusted. So what I'll do is I'll use a nice fat contact like the heel of my thumb right here, because there's a lot of meat there, and I'll put that against my adjusting point so that it's as comfortable for her as it can be. And she's holding that pretty tight right there. So I'm just gonna wait for her to relax a little bit. And I'm waiting for the muscles under that contact to relax. And once I get that little relaxation up there, then I'm gonna do the adjustment. So you'll see a little drop in her head. Oh, right there. Good girl. Good girl. There we go. Ooh, big deep breath, nice licks. That's perfect. Good, that's what we want. I love the dropping of the head. I think that's the biggest sign of relief that you can get is a horse that brings her head to the ground like that, because that's the position that they're in when they're in that rest and digest state. So you have fight or flight, which is the sympathetics, and you have the rest and digest, which is the parasympathetics. And you want them in that parasympathetic state as much as possible. And if they're in pain or they're scared or they're anxious or nervous, their head will be up above the withers typically. If they're in the parasympathetic state, that rest and digest, the head will be below the withers. And you won't have a relaxed horse with a high head. So the fact that her head dropped and now it's staying low is a big sign for me that that was successful. And this is a perfect example of why you still need to adjust sometimes the areas that are painful, Because if I didn't do that, just because it was not comfortable, we wouldn't have this response. So sometimes you just have to do that. Just like with people, you know, you try to get people to relax and you're applying pressure and trying to get them to let you do what you need to do. Even though it's painful, you know, they can breathe, they can wiggle their toes, they can do all kinds of things to distract themselves so you can get the adjustment done. Good girl. With horses, it's more about how you're putting your hands on them. Are you using a soft contact? Are you asking them for the movement instead of trying to force it? So like I was saying there, I was just waiting for those muscles to relax and waiting for the head to drop, you know, before I did the adjustment. I didn't force the adjustment when she wasn't ready, because then the reaction would be a bad one. Oh, hey. Easy. All right, let's try her this way. Yeah, she's really good flexion, but she's a little bit tied up here. Oh, that's a good girl. Oh, sorry, sweetie. Sorry, sweet pie. Easy. There you go. Good girl. Get her legs all stretched out. Hope you guys are having a great day. Be interested to know where you guys are watching from, if you don't mind typing that out into the comments. Oh. I think she's got to go to the bathroom, possibly. Let's see. No? Okay. Let's see. Whew. Girl. Oh. Girl. Good girl. Oh, there she goes. Good girl. There we go. It's rare when you meet a horse that doesn't like their horses, jeez, that doesn't like their legs stretched. And when I have a horse that I show up to work on and they're anxious or nervous or whatever, and they need a little bit more time to relax, I'll just go ahead and stretch the front legs first. And it makes them feel good, kind of calms them down. Feels good for them, so they know you're not there to do anything bad. Builds that rapport almost immediately. So it's a really nice trick to help your horses settle. And these leg stretches are in my equine stretching course on my website if you'd like to learn how to do them with me. And I'll have a horse and I'll just set aside about an hour to go through the stretches and show you what I do. And if you have questions about your horses or things you have trouble with and you want more help with that, you know, we'll do a private live so we can get all those questions answered and help you out with whatever you need. Texas, Washington, Litchfield. Hey, Christy, my neighbor. Let's see. High of 62. Wow, that's really nice. Hopefully that doesn't mean a crazy hot summer for any of us. All right, I'm gonna spin her around here. Man, that tail is a weapon. Oh, awesome, good girl. Oh. I spun her around so you guys could watch this more closely, but now she can see her food. Oh. So that's what she wants to go. She wants to go to her food right now. Good girl. Let's see. Oh. There we go. Good girl. Easy. Oh, good girl. Oh no, she's fine. Oh, girl. Nice stifle release there. Me, Colorado. Welcome, Catherine. All right. Sweet girl. All right, let's check the other side. If you guys don't mind tapping that like button for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, I think it helps YouTube notify that people are watching and hopefully spread the word a little bit. Good girl. That's a good girl. All right, let's check this side. Girl. This side feels much looser than the other side. Good girl. Good girl. All right, we'll get her jaw stretched out. This is a TMJ pressure point right here. So you just put your thumb right on this particular spot in her mouth, and they should start chewing right away, just like this. And what I'm looking for is for them to stand still, not throw their head around. There you go. And give me that nice stretch right there that she just did. And then I let it go. And then I'm gonna check the other side and look for that lower jaw to go the other direction towards me with that same stretch. All right, there, oh, a little bit longer. Oh, easy. There we go, good girl. Oftentimes you'll have a tight TMJ on the same side as the tight pole. If you remember, I adjusted the right side of her pole, so of course she's fussing with the right TMJ. There you go. And if they fuss like that, you just got to stick with them. There's a stretch. Oh, good girl. You just got to stick with them. Try to keep your thumb in there. And what I'll do is I'll have my fingers around the halter so that I can keep my thumb in the mouth. But if they throw their head around and you let go, then they'll learn that they can do that, and it'll be harder and harder for you to stretch that TMJ. So just try to stick with it. If your thumb comes out, just go right back to it until you're done and you're ready to let them go. Welcome from me, Catherine. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna roll over to the next stall over. I got a Palomino to work on over there. So we're gonna go over there. There we go. This guy's not getting done today, but he's a super cool little horse too. That's a good boy. All right, so we're gonna go over here and work on Max. Max is this little Palomino right here. Hey, buddy. Just scared him out of his food. All right, stall's kind of filthy, but it'll work. I think what I'll do is I'll bring him over here. It's a lot cleaner spot to work on him. Let's get this set up here. It's a beautiful day in Arizona today. It's been just amazing the last few days. I think it's been like 72 degrees and with a little bit of a breeze depending on where you are, but it's super, super, super great weather. Hey, Jacqueline. I don't actually have my own horses. These guys all belong to my clients. So yeah, this is a boarding facility and a training facility here. I would guess that they probably have some 50 horses on site here. Hey, buddy. I'm just getting the halter on Max, and then I will bring him right over there. And I have clients that often invite me to go ride, so I don't really need my own horses at this point, and I like to have the flexibility of traveling to different horse events and different things. I just went to Dubai for 3 weeks to work on a bunch of endurance and race horses, and I wouldn't be able to do that, I think, if I had horses of my own, because I just really wouldn't be able to trust somebody else to take care of them. So dogs are hard enough to find sitters for, let alone horses. So let's see. Mississippi's back. Good morning. All right, so this is Max. Let's see here. Max has a very interesting left hind, just as far as his musculature goes. He's got some huge glute muscles. They're just massive on this left side, but he's got a little bit of wasting in his quad on that left side. And he doesn't have an injury, there's nothing there. It's just that he's not using those muscles correctly. The vast majority of the time, if you see muscle wasting in the hind end, it'll be the glute muscles that are wasted because they're not firing their glutes properly, and they'll have huge hamstrings because the hamstrings are trying to do the job that the glutes aren't doing. Usually the quads are fine. So for him, he's got asymmetry in the quad muscles, which is not the norm. But I've adjusted him a few times. He does really, really well. He's kind of like Annie, where Annie just takes a minute to calm down. But for him, you know, he looks calm, but you can feel his muscles are super tense. So he just needs a minute to relax. But once he drops that head and calms down, he's super, super easy. Obviously very photogenic. Loves to be in the spotlight, clearly. Let's see. There we go. Nice flexion, or rather extension reflexes back there. And let's check his flexion reflexes. Now you can't see this because he's like squared up on the camera, so I'm gonna back him up. I'm gonna back him up and turn him a little bit so you can see this. Come on. There you go. Oh. There we go. That's better. Oh. So I'm going to hit a couple pressure points back here, get him to rotate his pelvis and lift his back. Oh. Let's see here. Get him to come up, up, up. There we go. That's a common response when you hit those pressure points, is for the horse to want to walk out of it like that. And you can imagine why. I mean, these are involuntary responses. So as I hit these pressure points, his pelvis rotates and his back comes up. It's not him deciding to do that movement. It's kind of like when your doctor hits your knee with that reflex hammer and your leg kicks out, you know. As an animal, for your body to be moving involuntarily, obviously that can be kind of startling and confusing, right? So they just want to move away. But it's not a pain response, so you can just back them right back up, come right back, and hit those reflexes again. Oh. Just wants to be all up in your business on that camera. Good morning, sweetheart. Hope you're having a really good morning. Awesome. So he's a little bit high on the right side. Usually if they have a high side, my tendency is to go adjust the low side to try to get that pelvis back squared up. I just feel like the pelvis at the SI joints tends to get stuck down and forward more than it gets stuck down and back. But because of how the pelvis moves, one side's moving opposite of the other. If one side's stuck high, that puts the other side in a low position, and vice versa. If one side's stuck in a low position, that puts the other side high. So I want to try to adjust the low side first. I think it's more comfortable for them. It's also better for me because my shoulders don't get put into a compromised position by adjusting something that's up high. So I always check that first. Oh yeah, and you can see his head come up. He really starts to lean into that. So that's definitely my spot. So I will adjust this side and then I'll recheck the SI joints. But yeah, he doesn't really want any part of that one, so that's the one. Oh, good boy. Sometimes this can be because there's you know, a little bit of pain and inflammation at the point of the hip here, but you can see I'm poking around here and he doesn't really seem to mind that. In fact, he's kind of acting like that feels good. So if that's okay, then I know the pressure that I'm applying is actually causing that discomfort at the SI joint. See, as soon as I put a little bit of pressure, his head comes up and he starts to get squirrely. So in this case, I'm just going to get into position and slowly add my pressure. And then when I feel him kind of lean into this a little bit and the head drops, that's when I'm going to do my adjustment. So it's the one thing that's really important as a chiropractor is that whenever I'm doing an adjustment, I'm doing this, oh, there we go. I'm doing this on the horse's time, not on my time. Same with the person. If the person's not ready for the adjustment, I'm not just going to go in there and adjust. I'm going to sit there until I feel the person's body drop and relax into my pressure, and then I'm going to do the adjustment. I think that's why so many times adjustments can be uncomfortable, is because the person doing the adjustment, either they're in a hurry or they're just not waiting for the person to be ready. They're just trying to do something to the person instead of doing the adjustment with the person. And it's a huge difference when you're being adjusted, when you're being adjusted by somebody that's waiting for you to be ready versus trying to adjust you when they're ready. It's a big difference. Oh yeah, Emma can stalk me whenever she wants. She's my #1 fan. Pretty sure I'm hers too. The horse is so cute. Yeah, he's cool. I like these little palominos, little Barbie horses. All right, let's check his sternal pressure point, try to get his back up. There we go. That's a good boy. All right, it's already starting to warm up a little bit. So this is a little shoulder pressure point, and I want him to come around and touch my hand at his shoulder. Boom, just like that. That's perfect. Good boy. A lot of times when you do that, when they come around and touch, they think they're gonna get smacked because they just put their mouth on you, you know? So it's really common for them to come around and touch and they go, oh, like, what did I do? Sorry. You know, so as soon as they touch, I make sure to give them some love and say good boy, whatever, so that they know that they did a good thing by coming around and touching my hands. Croatia, hello. Buzzer beater. I'm in Arizona, I'm in the US. Is that horse real? Yeah, the horse is definitely real for sure. What's the rarest horse you've done and how much did it cost? Well, my costs don't change depending on the horse. And I don't discuss my fees, but the rarest that I've done, I'd say the horse that I do the least frequently are Clydesdales. I do adjust a few of them, but they're just not very common around here. So I don't do them a whole lot. I did adjust over in Dubai 2 weeks ago. I adjusted a horse that was 18-1 hands, which is just enormous. So horses that size are very rare. I think I've adjusted 2 in my 8 years of doing this. Oh, there we go. Nice release at the pull there. I wouldn't say there's like a particular breed other than the Clydesdales that I adjust, you know, on a rare occasion like that. He's got a little arthritis in his neck on that side too. How many do you have, Faith and Candy? Yo, name a horse for an edit. What does that mean? What does that mean, young Sonny? Awesome. Thanks for watching from England. I don't know if it's Josie. Josie. Oh, Josie. Yep. Yeah, these Palominos are cool. He's an interesting one though. He could, other than the blonde mane, if he didn't have that blonde mane, he could almost pass as a like a red roan almost. He's very roaned out, lots of white in his coat. Some of the Palominos are just all butterscotch colored. Those ones are gorgeous, especially the big AQHA quarter horse studs that I work on are amazing. There's a couple really nice ones in Texas. That's a good boy. All right, let's check him around to the other side here, see if he can come touch. Thought he was going to do that one on his own. There we go. Beautiful. So his neck movement is really, really nice. You'll notice that when he comes around, he breaks over at the pole, rotates his whole neck around, and then drops to the shoulder. That's what I want to see. A lot of times if horses have issues in their pole and in the neck, they'll cheat to get to the shoulder. So instead of breaking over, rotating, and dropping, they'll just do this and they'll go right down to the shoulder, or they'll jet their chin way out and come way around. So they'll do all these weird movements to do what you're asking them to do, but they're not getting over there correctly. So I like to use these pressure points as a way to evaluate their movement. I love me a blondie too. Oh, thanks, Slade. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Love San Diego. Are you ex-military, or are you in the military in San Diego? So what do you do to start? So the first thing is you have to decide whether you want to be a human chiropractor or a veterinarian, because you can't just work legally without being one or the other. Some states require you to be a veterinarian. Some states require you, even as a human chiropractor with your animal chiropractic cert, to get a veterinary referral. So, if you knew you wanted to be an animal chiropractor, I would probably recommend going the vet route because you have more freedom. But while you're going to vet school, I would go take lots and lots of seminars on how to do equine adjusting, because the actual equine adjusting program is only 5 weeks long. And I mean, human chiropractors learn how to do this for 4 years. Vets learn how to palpate and adjust in 5 weeks. Like, you just can't. It's in my opinion, it's highly unethical, because the vets will get out of the equine adjusting program, and they really are practicing on their clients' horses once they get finished, because they don't know how to adjust. And I'm not dogging on the veterinarians, because there's a lot of really, really good veterinary chiropractors. I'm just saying that straight out of school, they don't have the experience of palpating and feeling the muscles and feeling the positions of the bones, feeling the movements of the joints, knowing the difference between a working muscle and a spastic muscle, knowing how many vertebrae they have. A lot of the vets at my program didn't even know how many vertebrae the horses had, let alone how to palpate them. So, it's kind of my soapbox issue. I have a lot of awesome vets that refer to me, and I refer back to them. But I think that veterinarians should really just stick with the vet work and let us chiropractors do the chiropractic work. And that way, when I'm palpating a horse and I find a problem that's not a chiropractic problem, obviously, then I'll refer that to the veterinarian. But it's very rare that a veterinarian will be working on a horse and find something and refer to the chiropractor. So, I want the best for the horse. So, that's why I don't do acupuncture. I don't do massage. I don't do anything like that. I do chiropractic work only. And if I find something else that needs to be done, I will refer out to that particular practitioner who does those things, so the horse gets the best of both worlds. And I just think that, after the veterinary program, the veterinary chiropractic program, for people to have 5 weeks of training and go out and start working on animals and charging for that it's not okay. But that's the program. So if you do want to become an animal chiropractor, I would go the vet route, because you have the most freedom when you get your license. But I would take a lot of animal chiropractic seminars so that you're proficient at adjusting. Oh, there we go. once you graduate the program. Like I said, soapbox issue, but I hope the point came across there. Awesome. My sister has a red and white paint. Yeah, those horses that are sweet like that are special. He's very much like that. He's just the adjustments so that they can just integrate the adjustment, kind of, figure out how that feels, and just give them a moment to relax. And then once they give me that little sign of relaxation, then I'll jump back in and adjust the next thing. His name is Max. Absolutely, Holly. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Appreciate that very much. Have you had a situation where there's really nothing that's going to help this issue? Yes, absolutely. I've had quite a few unfortunate issues where, people have come out to try to help a horse as their last ditch effort. It's like, if I can't help the horse, they're going to put it down type of thing, which is a pretty crazy situation to be in, for all three of us, the horse, the client, and me. And when it's that type of a thing, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be able to help the horse. Really, I'm just there to give it a little bit of comfort, hopefully make it feel okay, probably into its last days type of thing. But or it's either that or there's just some type of underlying injury that's a vet issue, which is pretty easy to determine if you're working on a horse that actually has an injury versus a horse that has a fixation. And in that case, I'll just stop the appointment when I feel that and just refer them straight to the vet. So yeah, it definitely happens. It's not too often, thank goodness. Most of my horses are maintenance or are on a maintenance care plan. They're performance horses, so they're in really good condition most of the time. But every once in a while, you do get those ones that are just, there's things going on that you can't help with. I've been working on horses for 8 years. I got my animal chiropractic certification in 2016. I actually got it before I graduated from my human chiropractic program, but I didn't start using the horse stuff for a couple years after, because I bought a human practice and I had to get that going. So I spent most of my time doing that before I started working with the horses. There we go. Good boy. So he's holding a little bit of tension in this shoulder. You saw that little head drop there when I picked up the leg. So when that happens, I just kind of hold what I have. He wants to kind of drift backwards on me when I'm moving the shoulder around. So, there we go. Good boy. And this is more of a response, like it's tight, not like it's hurting. It's either it just feels tight for him, or he's just not real sure what's going on. So he's like, whoa, like just kind of, that's how his body feels. It's like, oh, I'm not sure here. So when you have a situation like that, where the horse just seems to want to lean away from you or kind of slowly pull away, or they're doing weird things with the head, like, just not real sure, just hold what you have. Don't do anything abrupt. Just take it nice and slow. Let them figure it out. And once they figure it out, then you're good to go. You can proceed and keep the stretch going. But the last thing I want to do if they're unsure is try to yank the leg or do anything real quick or try to force them, because they're already a little bit nervous. And that definitely doesn't help the situation. I don't want to throw him into a fight or flight state. I want him to be nice and relaxed. There we go. Good boy. So everything I'm doing it's with my hands. It's like I'm asking them to do what I want. I'm not trying to force them to do what I want. It's right, like good luck forcing an 1,100-pound animal to do what you want. So it's much easier on both of you if you just take it slow and go at their pace. Yeah, the vast majority of the time it's a situation where they're just gonna have to put the horse down, unfortunately. But like I said, it doesn't happen too often, thank goodness. Moni, I'm in Arizona in the US. What's the best way to build clientele? Honestly, the best way is to just go to work. Go to horse shows, pass out your business cards at horse shows. Um, you know, just hit the ground and meet people. Go out and meet people as much as you can. Social media is great once you get a base clientele set and you have referrals going. But you know, social media without a following already and without clientele already really isn't going to help you a whole lot. So I would do, you know, I would just strap your boots on and get out and go to work, go to shows, meet as many people as you can, pass out as many cards as you can, while also, of course, you know, building a website and building your social media. Oh, Catherine, the book's not out yet. I am still working on it, but I'm hoping to be finished with that by the end of the month and have it available for you guys. It'll be on my website. It'll be on my Facebook page. I'll link it in my YouTube description, so you will not have a hard time finding it once it's out. Hello, Aubriana Torres. Thank you for watching. My first horse was a horse that's in Tucson. His name was Seymour. I haven't seen him in a while, but I worked on him for a few years actually. Moni, I do travel. It just depends. You know, people have to cover my travel fees, and you know, there has to be enough horses to make it worth my while. Just because I'm really busy here in Arizona, and I just went to Dubai for 3 weeks to work on a bunch of endurance and not in thoroughbreds mostly, but endurance Arabians and flat race Arabians. So I'd love to travel more internationally too. Nike, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Nike. I do not give them treats for a couple reasons. Number one, horses don't learn as well from positive reinforcement as they do from negative reinforcement. So if he does something that I like and I give him a treat, horses don't take that as, oh, I did good, like a dog does. Horses work more on pressure and release as far as the reward system goes. So if he does what I want, I take the pressure off, or I'll give him some scratches and stuff like that, but I won't give him treats. The second thing is, as a person that's working on the horses, if I give him treats, if I have treats on me and I give him treats, then the entire time after I give him that treat, he's going to be in my pockets trying to get to my hands, trying to get some more treats. So it gets annoying, and it teaches them really bad habits. So I don't give them treats. Once in a while when I'm finished with the adjustment and I take the halter off and close the stall, then I'll give them a treat. But I don't want them to remember me as the treat guy when I come back. They're just all over me trying to get some more. Hello, Kelly. I just had a few clients from Alberta yesterday up at the quarter horse show in Scottsdale. All right, let's check this leg. Oh, nice release in that shoulder. Good boy. One thing you'll see when you're working on the legs is if the horse is going to be hesitant with the legs or unsure, it's going to be with the first leg. Usually it's only with the first leg, and then they realize what you're doing, and then the second leg becomes a lot easier to get stretched out. Of course, he's making me look like a liar, but he'll calm down here in a second. There he goes. Oh, easy. And the other thing to keep in mind too is if they have an issue at one of their SI joints, in his case it was the left side SI joint, most of the time you're going to find that the right shoulder is going to be stiffer than the left. So left SI joint issue, right shoulder issue, right SI joint issue, left shoulder issue. So if you find an issue in one of these areas, the opposite side at the other end is going to have a problem. So I would have expected that right shoulder to be a little bit more stiff anyway than this left one, and it definitely was. Oh, good boy. Oh, good boy. All right, that was good. Thank you guys for all the comments and questions. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind hitting that like button for me, that would be awesome. I think we've got 100 people watching and 20 likes. So if you don't mind helping me get that number up a little bit, I would greatly appreciate that. Hello, Tracy from Great Britain. Appreciate you watching. Have you ever been? I've never been to Alberta. I've only been through Canada once. I was in the Air Force up in Alaska and I drove home through Canada. Nicest people I've really ever met. And it was a terrible trip, but an amazing trip because of the people. Absolutely, Dallas. Definitely have to be patient with them. Thank you, Tracy. It's my pleasure. Yeah, he's super quiet. Look, I'm just not even really holding any tension on the lead rope, and he's just standing there. Uzbekistan, very cool. I think that's the first person from Uzbekistan. Show yours, please. I'm not sure. Show my what, Elise? Oh, ouch, Kelly. Sheesh. I think I'm a pretty nice guy. All right, I'm gonna turn him around, get his back legs done. Awesome. All right, again, I really appreciate your time, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I usually try to go live, you know, at least once or twice a week. It's usually during appointments where the clients aren't around, because then, you know, the clients just want to talk and it's hard for me to get a good video and a good live in. So, whew. A little fussy on that one. Good boy. Good boy. I'll do this one from this angle so you can see it from a different side. Hello, Jose, or hopefully I'm saying that right, from London. Thank you so much for watching. Murat, I am in the US. I'm in Arizona. Good boy. Good boy. Let's get this other one. Oh, he didn't like that hind leg, so he's a little jumpy with me right now. Good boy. Good boy. You all right? Good boy. Surprised, because I've worked on him a few times. Oh, Max. I guess he just wants to say hello. Back leg stuff, I don't push it for obvious reasons. If he's going to keep walking away and acting like he's scared of this one, I won't push it with him. Get kicked by the second one. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Oh. Good boy. Good boy. All right, we'll leave it at that for now. I'm going to stretch your jaw out, and then he will be all done. Let's see. Oh. So again, this is just a little pressure point up on the gum line. I'm not really even pushing on it at all. It's just that my thumb is resting against it. And this is a really good thing to do for anxious or nervous horses. Gets them to calm down. If you have any type of pull restrictions or pull tightness, you can get them to really chew and stretch that TMJ. You can see how much he's working the pull just by putting your thumb on this pressure point. So there, good extension of the pull, see that? And they'll often turn left and right. But neurologically, there's a huge benefit to getting them to stretch their TMJ like this, which will be in the book I'm writing. A little bit of in my Masterclass manual, there's going to be a bunch of anatomy and neurology stuff in there. Just basic stuff so that people understand how their horses actually work. and why stretching and adjusting is so beneficial for them. But I'm going to go into the TMJ, I'm going to go into the muscles, the Golgi tendon organs, and the muscle spindle cells, and how those communicate with the brain, and why it's so beneficial for them to stretch the muscles and activate those cells for proprioception, which is basically position of the joints, as well as for their movement. Which kind of sport are you trained? I'm not a trainer, Murat. I'm a chiropractor, so I don't train. Awesome. For those of you who have clicked that like button so before I end the live, that would be really great. I got one more horse to do, but my battery's running a little bit low, so I'm gonna have to stop the live before I get over to him. Channel, and see you all on my next live. Thank you very much, and hope you all have a wonderful day.